Welcome to the Divine Melanation. This is Dr. Hood Talk Simone. You know how it goes, right? Um, y'all slide into the DM. I have a co-host, y'all. She is dear to me. This is Tamra.
Hi.
And we have been friends since
Forever.
10th grade?
Yes.
14?
Yeah, I think it was 14. 14, 15.
Yeah, so we've come a long way in our friendship. Today, the title of this podcast is called The Aesthetic of Womanhood, Part 1. Because I know we're going to do a Part 2. This is near and dear to us because we're both mothers. We're both, we come from kind of figuring things out ourselves and as we go and enjoying it and kind of like hating.
Pains.
Yes.
We got teenage daughters.
Yes.
In 2022.
Right.
There are growing pains.
Yes. But we are only in our 30s. We have these women that are young women that are going into womanhood. And as far as our womanhood was concerned, a lot of it wasn't discussed. And we weren't really prepared. And it's not that it was our mother's fault. Like, we didn't have no bad childhood or nothing like that.
Right.
It was just a lot of things we wish we would have had conversation. But, you know, we 80s babies.
Right.
So back then it was like,
these weren't topics that came up.
speak when spoken to.
Right.
Stay out of grown folks' business. That's not your business. And we didn't know.
And you acting grown. Don't ask stuff like that because you're not grown. That's it. So then when we got grown, did nobody ever tell us
we were doing
what
anything. We was doing anything.
Right.
So, who, what, where taught us about womanhood?
Right.
So, the first thing that we want to discuss is mothers, us being mothers, and our relationship with our daughters, and how that in turn manifested from our relationship with our mothers and how we are as women and as mothers as well. So, do you want to go first? You want me to go?
You can start.
Okay.
I'll piggyback.
So, I have an 18-year-old daughter, and she is a major flex for me. I ain't gonna lie. Like, my baby a major flex. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. My daughter is a major flex. I love her so much. She's everything that I would have wanted to be, with my confidence as a woman, everything that I wanted to be as, and I think it's because I've been able to teach her and guide her and direct her, and she trusts me. Right. As a, I didn't really trust women when I was coming up because my mother wasn't stable.
I didn't know that about you. I never would have thought that you didn't really trust women. Like, I
didn't trust women because you gotta understand, like, my mom, like, at 13, I was at the house by myself.
Right.
So I'm doing my own thing. So then it's like when another woman tries to tell me what to do, you can't tell me. Because I'm getting up going to school. Remember, I used to walk to your house to catch the bus with you?
Yep. You stay over. We had to be in a tent. I'm scarred. I didn't want to bring that up.
But it's just real stuff.
That's true.
It's real stuff. Like, it's things that we had to do to make sure that Tamra really was my same place. Well, not even my same place because I was at home a lot.
Right. I guess that's why I didn't see that because you took on like a different level as a friend to me. And so I didn't even think about you not trusting because you automatically assumed when I came from the time I met you, you've always been like a protector for me because you knew that I was kind of green. And so I never would have thought that you didn't really trust women. And so from the time I met you.
Because they're weird.
That's true.
Women are weird.
Very weird.
Women, even our older set of women, are weird. They're grimy. They're liars. They're deceitful. I'm just gonna say this our mama thing. But one thing I did trust is I had a couple of friends, you, Demaya, Keyshawn, Keisha, and their mothers knew that I was at home by myself. Like, your mama knew that I was at home by myself, and she knew that my mother was an addict. But what they never did was put me in a position where the state was in my business.
Right.
They
Just come on.
never,
Come
ever,
on.
ever did that,
That's
but they
true.
made sure that I was okay.
That's true.
And for me, I don't know, a lot of people wouldn't recognize that, but I did.
And
I reckon-
I'm just learning that. Like, I never.
I reckon because they could have did that.
Right.
Your mama could have easily called and been like, because you was in the
Right.
your mother is a career military person, so she could have easily been like, no,
And
this
that
ain't
wasn't the case.
She didn't do that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Just
Like,
as
she
long
had
as you
her
good, come
boundaries
on.
at her house. Like, she'd be like, Simone, come over here. Oh, okay, it's
She
10
better
o'clock.
get here, get to sleep, get you some food.
Yeah.
And we in there just
Remember
giggling,
we used to-
whispering up.
Remember the church?
With that graveyard?
The
Don't bring
church
it.
with that
Baby, I'm
cross
God.
hanging. We used
We
to
had to
run
just
through
make
there.
it topic. Anyway, we will be sidetracked.
Okay.
Topic. We're gonna keep on going.
Okay, so being a mother in a relationship with my daughter, I am more of an open conversationalist. I'm learning to not yell and cuss as much at her and talk at her, but talk to her. Because my mother was an addict, so it was a lot of talking at me.
Right.
Instead of talking to me. And so that's how I navigated through mothering until about she was 12.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm gonna speak directly from the heart. Like, I've seen your ups, I've seen your highs, I've seen your lows, I've seen you go through, and we didn't grow up the same, and we didn't have the same life experiences even as adults. However, these kids, sometimes you got to cuss at them. They don't understand their regular language, because my daughter, who is 16, will respond totally different when I'm like, I told you already to make sure you do this, this, and this. Oh, but if I whoop her, if I cuss her out,
They get it.
and want to be right up under you, crazy. But then I'm wrong.
You saw at my house the other day, right?
She all in your face. And so for me, with the way that I was raised, my mama doesn't agree with that. Like, she doesn't get it. But I'm telling her, Rose, you have to understand. I call her Rose, but you got to understand. I've tried the nice way. I've tried this, and this, but let me go off. Now she gets it, and now we can be the best of friends.
Yeah.
So the way that we were raised, but even though we are coming from a place of love, when we do have to cuss them out, they respond to it better, and they're still gonna come back. They're still gonna talk to us.
But it's not cussing them where we're degrading them.
Right? No, like, we might say,
Get
this
your
is
motherfucking
crazy.
ass
Like,
up out of here.
like you said, look at my floor. You need to sweep, or you need to do this. Like, I know you seen all this. You just gonna walk the fuck by it, and you just gonna leave this shit sitting like this. It's a different kind, and then they gonna clean it up.
Yeah.
But if I said it in a nice way,
I would say it 5 times.
Mama, that's crazy. It's by Sarah Sydney. Okay, but did you die? Do you want to die? Like, so you have to respond to them a little bit different. So I will say, our parenting is different, but our parents, we wouldn't dare say that to them, because we didn't have that same kind of communication. Now, when we talk to our kids like that, our daughters will definitely come back to us and be completely open about topics.
And how we talk to them.
Right, and be right up under us.
Because I had a thing where I was calling Violet a bitch.
Now,
I had a thing.
that might be a little extreme,
but that was the environment that I was
and y'all
coming.
grew.
And I was like, and when she got older, she was like, Mama, quit calling me that.
Right.
Like, that makes me feel XYZ. I'm like, if you love, like, you don't talk to your daughter like that. Like, so I had to listen to her, because I didn't have, like, a blueprint of how to be a mother to a girl, because at 13, my mother tapped out.
Right.
And even before 13, like, I can remember my mother being an addict as early as probably 9. No, probably 9. About 8 or 9. I can remember her being an addict. So she really wasn't just tapped in.
Right.
I knew when she was high, I can get whatever I want. I knew when she was getting ready to get high, she was agitated. Like, I knew what to do. Like, I always knew how to read. And that kind of helped me growing up and being, because I'm the only child. Well, I was raised the only child. So that kind of helped me kind of navigate and use my discernment. Makes sense. Right?
But then however you got past that, when you did have your kids, it's almost like even with your daughter, like, you cherish that. And yes, you went through some things, but you created however you did it. I have no idea. But to see them now, especially Violet, this baby come and be right up under you and is unfazed. Like, you've done that and you've done a beautiful job, and she will communicate, but she's still respectful. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm finna go, because whatever she needs, she ain't gonna say it while I'm
But
here.
I was real strict though.
You were, but you were real blunt as well. Like, you didn't sugarcoat. Like, you've always told me, you just gotta be open. You gotta
Be
talk.
honest,
You gotta
say it.
talk. You know, and now that I am like that, she's like, Mama, language, but she's gonna come to me and tell me everything, and I've created a safe place to where I think the difference between, to stay on topic, I think the difference between our relationships with our daughters now versus our relationships, like for instance with my mom, is that I am not afraid to be very, very open with my daughter. I'm not afraid. I feel like even now there are things that the other generations won't talk about, right? Like, if there's a problem in my house, I'm not afraid to call and talk to you or call somebody and try to get help. They don't want to do that.
Yeah,
They want
what
to
stays
appear
in my house.
what goes on in the house stays in the house.
house.
But that's not true. Like, sometimes we need to talk to somebody. We
Because I need
help,
to understand.
right? Like,
sometimes I'm not registering.
I'm not equipped. I don't know what to do about this, right? So
I don't have it all together.
And they
I
sure ain't gonna go public with
and
it.
I think that's what we're failing. Our parents had failed us because they made us feel that they had it all together.
And we didn't. So we suffered, or they suffered in silence. And I think that is what your whole outlook is. Like, this baby that you've birthed, this divine melanation, your sisterhood, that is why this is so important. Because we don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to keep having generations.
You don't have to lie.
We ain't got to lie. We don't have to suffer in silence. You
put on masks.
No, the truth of the matter is,
we all going through the same thing. It just look different.
And why suffer in silence? Because mental health is real, but so is help. So are resources. We are each other's resources. Yeah. That's so important.
Because that's one thing. Okay, so y'all, one thing that I do say in the Divine Melanation, the strong black woman is the most ghettoest shit that they could have ever told us. Black girl magic, that discounts everything about black women. That discounts our emotional, mental, spiritual.
I'm gonna have to write that down because she's teaching me something that I didn't know. Black girl magic.
Our spiritual, like, it makes us vulnerable even to our men. You know what I'm saying? Because they expect us to be the strong black woman, and it's like, no, we need help, we need resources, and sometimes we're scared to ask for help.
So a strong black woman, you feel like it's like a negative connotation over us, because
don't nobody call no white woman a strong white woman.
So if that's the case, that means that so they don't do that across the board. Okay, so strong white woman, black love, white love, like
I'm gonna give
across the board.
I'm gonna give you an example.
Okay, bet I'm ready. Boom, go.
You're a nurse.
Okay.
So how many times have you seen, or even for yourself, because you have MS? Mm-hmm. So how many times have you ever? Okay. Because that's one thing. Like, a lot of we suffer with. That's true. With these things that in silence.
That's true.
You've been when you were diagnosed?
It was 12 years ago on Thanksgiving.
So that was 20.
Hell, yep, I was 26.
That's young.
Mm-hmm.
That's young.
Yep, about to be 40, and it sucked.
So, as a black woman, when you told the doctor your threshold was a 10, how many times did you have to reinforce that it's a 10, not a 6? It's because I'm sitting here and I look good.
Right.
And I'm talking to you does not mean that I'm not hurting as much. Right. Strong black woman. Society. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. How we get help. Our health. How it's treated. Because black women are taught to be strong. We're taught to be resilient. Take it. It's okay. Go forward. Do it.
Well, that is a topic that we probably could go on. And I think for me, it's rooted for a lot of different reasons, right? Like, for me, it was modeled in my house very early on. But that could done. Look at what you've been through and look at what you've done. You have a son, a black man who is in the military. We ain't gonna talk about the kicking it he's doing, but he's made it. Your daughter is in school. They don't have kids. They don't have a criminal record. Your mother was an addict.
That
You are
stayed in
not.
prison.
And you are not an addict. And you are not in prison. And your mom is still here. And she is
But I
recovered.
still went. But I still went.
We're going to be focused, okay? You might have went. Positivity. Look, another topic, another day, okay? We're going to focus on the positive. Let me speak affirmations. Let me be proud of you. Let me uplift you, okay?
Okay.
Because the truth of the matter is, okay, you went. And are you there right now?
No.
Okay, so that doesn't
But that
matter.
was the strongest thing that I had. That was the hardest thing that I had to pull the most strength out of.
But your mom is telling you she's proud. That means that she's here. That means she is
She
recovering.
loves
And
how great
she
of a
has
parent I am.
said it, but because a lot of times they don't get to say it. Like my daddy, who knows what he's doing? I don't know if he's a recovered addict. I don't know, because when he calls, he just asks to speak to my mama. Well, sir, I'll let her know you called. I call her. Your baby daddy's still calling looking for you. I don't know if his mind is so far gone from doing drugs, but I say that to say that your mom's mind is not so far gone, and she really is proud of you.
And your mama still, and your mama help. Your mama's like an anchor for you.
Yes.
Like if you didn't have your mother there,
Girl.
like just to be, like now they're open to giving us advice.
Yes,
because they see how we parent.
I went through a time where I was really, really mad at my mom. When I got diagnosed, I did not call her. My grandma called and she flew in and came and was like, we had a time. The two worst times for her and I, when I got pregnant with Sydney, and she was a nightmare to deal with, and when I got diagnosed. But I was dealing with not understanding, like, now, oh baby, now I get it. I didn't understand then as well as I do now, because when my brothers graduated, baby, she jumped ship, moved to Cuba, married her late husband now, and was doing her thing, and I couldn't understand why. Okay, well, we don't need you then, because my brothers are both here. Now, as you are raising, you have your young adult children that are still adults, but kid adults. I'm
Adulting.
like, right. I'm like, now I get it. Oh, they grown. I'm out. You just need a breather. But I didn't understand then. I felt like, so you just leave and now they here with me. Like, I didn't understand how good it feels to just take a breath. Like, I've been raising kids my whole life. As a mother, I didn't get that.
That's where I'm at now.
Now that I'm so close to the finish line,
Girl,
right?
I
She
feel
needed
like
that break, and that's how you feel. You like, you in
I ain't
college, you can't come home.
every weekend.
Now I understand. I need to write that because I don't think I ever told her. I get it because I keep telling mine, baby, on August 26th of 2024, I don't care where I drop you off. You going to somebody's dorm in somebody's college, and I'm going off the grid. But I didn't understand. But to piggyback, your mom should be proud of you, and you should be proud. You should feel good for her because one, she's still here. Two, she's sound mind, even though she was an addict, to be able to let you know how proud she is of you. That's huge for y'all to be able to kind of have some kind of a bond and a love to where she's sound enough to tell you and you can hear it and really, really appreciate it. That's a beautiful thing after all this time. Because my daddy is a cuckoo bird.
And your mom and my daddy. Okay, we're not gonna do that.
Next time, another topic. we got a lot of topics. We can meet every day.
We got some things to talk about, y'all. This divine melanation is. I want women to have fun. Talk about it if you agree with it, if you can relate to it.
And if
comment.
you can't, let us know too.
Send it to the
Give us a
email.
topic.
Talk to us.
Yes.
Like we comment. We want to hear
questions.
feedback. Like
Definitely.
we're both on social media. The next thing that we want to talk about is lessons with coping through womanhood, making informed decisions, and our emotional intelligence. That's a big thing.
That's huge. Emotional intelligence is huge. That can go from work, parenting, relationships. That's a huge category, like for me in general. I would put emotional intelligence anywhere from your workplace, your relationships. Part of growing when it comes to emotional intelligence, like I think you were talking earlier as far as finances, but those red flags that you see like in a relationship or even in the workplace, that is growth with your emotional intelligence, because no matter what you're thinking, when you know that there is a red flag and you stay, that is a lack of you using your emotional intelligence. Would you agree?
Yeah, and it's a lack of knowing, like,
your self-awareness,
using
is
your
key.
discernment.
Yes, absolutely.
And vetting.
Yes.
Like, I've started to vet friends. You know I'm vet. Okay, y'all, I'm hypergamous.
Hypergamy. I wish I had a ding, but I don't have the ding.
I'm gonna put the definition of hypergamy. Hypergamy is dating up. I'm not. I have put in my due to the broke nigga fund. I'm not doing it no more. I'm not building no nigga. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your mama, and I didn't do it to you. I need you to come correct.
But you're gonna come correct too.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna match that.
There you go. She's gonna match your energy. So she's not a gold digger. She's not saying.
I might be.
Oh, well,
they call it. That's what they call it.
Okay, well, she might be.
But I'm gonna be. But I'm gonna love you to the ends of the earth. Cause I'm a lover.
Okay.
Cause I'm a lover. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you don't have the emotional intelligence to be what we need to be and make those informed decisions. Because how many times did I, like, girl, I've been married, y'all been married 2 times. And both times I've called her and I was like, girl. And she was like, why? I had a pimp. That was my boyfriend. He wasn't even my pimp. He was my boyfriend.
Okay, so we're going to flag on that play, okay? So this is my opinion, and I have loved her dearly. In my mind, I feel like a pimp's job is to make that woman feel like they are the only, or they are the main, and they are the girlfriend. To me, that is not emotional intelligence. That is a pimp doing their job. Yes. But to her, she was a girlfriend, and I'm like, baby, let's just go home. You don't have to stay here. She tried to get
me to go home.
And then she's like, but he thinks you're cute, and that's fine. We finna go, and she would not go. And as smart as she is, this was a dumb choice. She was like, well, he takes care of me and he pays everything. And I was like, he's a pimp. Who keeps the money? Well, he keeps the money, but I'm happy. I'm taken care of. And I was like, but he's a pimp. Make it make sense. Thank God she was delivered from that.
Delivered.
But this made sense. But this shows you willpower for her. This woman is so strong. She could be dumb at times. That was a dumb moment. But she was so strong. She was like, girl, I left. I was like, oh, is this him calling?
Making informed decision making. And I think that goes to us having that support system.
Yes.
Because even though your mother was there, from the conversations we've had, she supported any decision that you made, but I think you wanted more emotional support from her.
Yes, I think she has supported. Well, no, she ain't always supported every decision. Now, where we are right now, I think this is a weird place for us right now. I've been married 9 years. Excuse me, been with my husband for 11. That's it. That's all I can say about that. I'm going through some emotions. A lot of emotions. I don't know. She knows. She's just gonna say, girl, he don't want you no more. I'm not dumb or blind, but
we know, listen, if you got motion, we're gonna sit here and love you. Okay? But don't think the exit plan ain't coming.
That is good. Yes.
So I want you black men to understand. Y'all might say we leave, but y'all be on that bullshit, and we will leave. But we not finna. But what we do know is y'all gonna be okay. Okay, so financial literacy and how the lack of knowledge has held women back.
So I'm going to jump in on that part, because since forever and a day, I don't know any women that won't agree with this. Our mamas may not have had anything, or they may have worked their whole life to have something. I have seen women, and they may have a side business, or they may go to work. They may work 2 or 3 jobs. Like I said, my mama was in the military for 30 years. I watched her with a sorry-ass nigga. I watched her be and I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, Mom. But I watched her be in the military. I watched her work at TJ Maxx and at Dillard's one holiday season to make sure all the bills were paid and we had everything we needed for Christmas. This was in San Antonio with Roger. He didn't do anything. I didn't get along with him, so he moved out of the house. She was essentially living a double life just to try to keep the peace at home as a single mom and still take care of him. But you didn't have to do all of that. So I say that to say we've always had the work. We've always knew what we needed to do. And most black women that I know, the one thing that I feel like they've always told us is always have some money aside for a rainy day. Don't always depend on him, and always have a little something aside for a rainy day in case he act up and you gotta go. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I went into my marriage thinking, no, because that's speaking negative, and so you don't want to have that thought process. My dumb ass should have listened to that piece of advice. But now, take it a step further, because now you have this money aside for a rainy day. The issue is, what are we doing with that? That, to me, is where we need to take it a step further. Do we know how to invest it? What are we doing for that money with the rainy day? Because is it just sitting in a jar? Is it just sitting in a bank account? What exactly are we doing with that? And that's where I feel like we network, we have that sisterhood, and we really learn how to take it a step further. Because let's be honest, a rainy day nowadays, you can't just have $500 sitting aside. You got to have a deposit for everything. You got to have a deposit for a place. You got to have stuff to turn on. But we can be having that grow for us.
So let me give you a little step further.
There we go. We stepping on up.
Okay, so financial literacy to me means economics.
Yes.
Generational wealth.
Yes.
Do you know what generational wealth, what it equates to?
We talked about it the other day a little bit. I had a drink. I'm a little loopy. Go ahead. Tell me again.
Generational wealth is enough to sustain 3 generations after you.
Count the finger. Okay.
So right now people are like, oh, I got generational wealth. If you don't have resources, provisions, real estate investments for 3 generations after you to live well, that's not generational wealth. Learning about the stock market. Y'all, okay, first of all, I want y'all to just really chill on the segregation shit. We live in America, okay?
What are you talking about, the segregation shit? Has that been a big thing lately?
Yeah, it's a big thing. Like a lot of black people want to be segregated from white people and other races. They want our own communities. And I don't feel like it's nothing wrong with us having our own communities. But we also live in America. And America is a thread that we hold together. So if we're holding this thread together and we don't know the game, we don't know that we can have an LLC, put the LLC in our name, still get our benefits, put our car in our LLC name, have our phone. Right now, this year, I'm talking about tax write-offs going to be for this, my cell phone, my internet at home, tax, everything is a tax, dinner, everything is a tax write-off. As long as you're talking about business,
okay,
that's a tax write-off. You can have and you pay yourself through your business. So even if through law, you have to pay yourself minimum wage. So you can pay yourself $7.25, and you pay yourself minimum wage, and then you do your taxes through your business. I only made $7.25. That's why people were getting mad at Trump, because Trump only paid $1,000-something.
So I think the issue, I'm going to speak for me. The issue with that is we see a lot of people making the money. Like, let's say you go on social media, you see that's happening, right? But then it stops right here where this conversation is. Go from there. Like, people tell you, but then you're like, well, now what? Because you really don't know, and you don't have anybody to help you. So do you pay the money for somebody to help you, and they just really made that money, and you still back where you started?
But let me tell you something else. See, this is in the financial literacy economics. Group economics is one thing that helps us. I'm a part of a group called SIG, Sisterhood Investment Group. And with that group is a group of entrepreneurial women that are experts in their own field. Might be taxes, might be real estate, might be therapy, might be gift making, might be shoe. They might have a boutique, a shoe line, a hair line, financial. Right now, it's a woman that I'm scheduling in the group. She does financial advising.
Okay.
And budgeting the professional way.
Right.
We just had a Zoom. It was a woman there that was telling us how to get these grants. So
That's
it's
big.
gonna be a
I need
lot
help with
of
that.
women that are gonna be coming on the podcast
To
that
really
have
be there to help.
experts into helping us have the emotional intelligence that we need,
Mm-hmm.
speaking those things that we want into existence, giving us financial literacy that break that will. Because one of the
Right.
things that hurts the black community the most is because even though we're going forward, we're also pulling from the back.
Mm-hmm. I remember you and I talked about that.
Yeah. So that is one of the things that
Sometimes you have like the money and you don't know what to do with it. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put that out there. I don't know who else in the SIG group, because sometimes you have married women who may be getting a divorce. They want to make sure that they're not getting ripped off. Maybe somebody's
a
in the
lawyer,
group. Right?
a
Because
lawyer that's gonna tell you what your options are, how to sign. Y'all, I am not opposed to prenups. I don't give a damn.
I am not opposed either.
I don't care
Currently,
what.
it's too late for me. So I need.
I don't. You know, it's not. I don't care how much, because women think a prenup is to make sure that you don't get anything. Prenups are to make sure that you're taken care of afterwards. Okay, that's what it's for.
Explain that to me then. So if I go in with nothing, if I go in with something,
that
I don't want
goes-
it taken. But if I go in and I start making something, then when we leave, you don't get to take it, but and vice versa.
No, because you can make your prenup to be whatever you want it to be. You can
Okay.
be like, if you cheat, I get this.
Got
Or
it.
after 3 years, if this happens, then I get this. After 3 years, if we do well, in our 4th year we divorce, I get 50%.
Got it.
So
It's more detailed than what people think.
that it is.
Understood. Okay.
But see, that's financial literacy.
Right,
We don't
because we didn't know.
We don't talk about those,
Right.
because we don't have assets.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so to get assets, and now black women, I told you this. Me and her had a conversation. I told her that black women,
Oh, you finna say it. Say it slow.
black women are the weakest politically,
Mm-hmm.
but we have the most political power. We just don't have a strategy. We carry everything and everybody on our back, but we don't have a strategy for ourselves. And we have so much political power. So if we learn these things, what to invest in, what not to, having a sisterhood, having dedication, being honest, healing from our traumas, trusting other women, because even when a man cheats on you, it might break you down, but it also negates the trust that you have with your sister, because you're looking at other women like, you know what I'm saying? So you don't trust other women as much because it's another woman that has represented that deceitfulness of a man. It's a good read, right?
Now I will say this. One of the things and one of the reasons I didn't mind coming and talking, we may not always see eye to eye, but whatever it is that she tells us or whatever we talk about, I can vouch for her. She's done some reading. Now, how deep the reading goes or where she's getting it from, that's y'all's homework, just like it's my homework, right? Because people can tell you whatever and they can believe behind it. It's up to you to do the homework, do the reading, and really piggyback, see how you feel.
What works
Come
for
back
you
with
might
another
not.
article. Like, say, hey, well, I found this. You said this, but I found this. That's how we learn. Because whether you agree or you disagree, even if you disagree, it's still opening up your mind and it's making you go in and do some more research. And that's good. Really, all she's really, really trying to push is the knowledge is power. And the more you know, it's going to work for you.
Open up your
either
mind.
way. Exactly.
Open up your mind
Because
to
I know
other.
I'm going to read about it.
Open up your mind to other perspectives, other experiences, and just being open-minded.
To help you grow.
Because
honestly,
and
she
you
just
and
wants
you
to
want
do
to
well.
be what you want to be. I went to a seminar last week,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the big things that stood out is be, do, have. And you be what you want to be, you do what you need to do, and then you have those things. And sometimes we think that we got to do it, then be it, and we have it. Or we got to have it, do it, and be. Like, but you have to be what you want to be so that you can do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm a podcaster. So I have to be a podcaster, do what I need to do as a podcaster, and then have those things that a podcaster has.
Check.
So it's be, do, have.
Be, do, have.
Those are, that's a big, y'all, investing in yourself
is
is
so
so
important.
detrimental and important. I think I read an article and they said that the national average of the amount of money per year that people put into themselves, I want to say the article said $20.
So I will piggyback off of that because I have started seeing a therapist. I thought I could be okay on my own, and I tried and I tried and I tried. And the one of the first things that she said to me was, "Go get your nails done or go do this." And she will tell you, I always have my nails done, but when I kind of got at a all time low and I was like super depressed, I was like, "Yeah, you're right." But that was the biggest thing that she said. You need to spend time with you. Start doing things for you. It was so important. I was like, well, I won't get a massage. I'm trying to save money. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. So I started really cutting back on things for me. And it's hard for me to be a mom, be a wife, do everything at home when I'm suffocating in silence. Like, silence is golden, but when you are really in a dark place, that silence is suffocating. It is so loud. How can silence be that loud? But it's actually true. Like, so when she called me, or she's like, no, I think I called you. And I'd be like, hey, what are you doing? And she was kind of available. And so I was like, okay, I'll do this. I'm terrified. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. But okay, sure, I'll be there.
How do you feel right now?
I feel like I have a lot of homework.
But I
feel good.
Doesn't it feel like talking, like, and hearing yourself say it? Like, because it's a vibration, right? So the vibration, and y'all go back to last week's episode with Sensei 9, y'all. Everything is a vibration. So when you hear yourself, your intention. So sometimes, like, she gets on me because she knows that I'm really harsh and rough. And I'm very, very direct and blunt. And sometimes it hurts her feelings.
Always.
But I get her to because you teach people how to treat you, right? And so she tells me that hurts my feelings. So I also have to let her know that me being direct, don't look at what I'm how I'm saying it. Look at the intention. I'm not dogging you out and calling you no dog ass hoe or calling you a bag of bitches. I'm not doing none of that.
She's never said those kind of things. Even when she's being harsh, she's never said either one of those.
It's the intention because I love you. But she knows that when I don't care, I don't say shit. I be like, girl, that girl, think she dumb. I ain't finna say that. Because she'll ask me, what did you tell her? I be like, no.
So, let's piggyback. Because in all actuality, like, she's very blunt and she's a little harsh, but she's a sweetheart at the same time, right? Like, when she calls me crying, like, it hurts me to my soul. So, but I don't like to hear her when she's like that. I'm a little bit more tenderhearted. She's been like this since I met her, and she has zero fucks given, and sometimes, and that's just how she is this or is that, and that's how she is. Whether she's right or she's wrong, like, when she's in a zone and her mind is made up, that's it. That's all. She might come back and revisit it, but she's a true Virgo. You just gotta let her go through it, and then that's it. What I will say is, yes, it's just her presentation that's really harsh. But she do way worse than I do. But I don't approach her like that because I think when she gets to that point, she's been through so much, and she knows. I know when she's come to me and she's that upset, she's not coming to me for harsh talk. She's just coming to vent. She knows she done fucked up. She already knows these things. So when she comes to me, I'm just here for support and to love on her, because that's what she needs at that time.
And I think sometimes that's why I come to you, because there's a lot of people I don't come to, is because you listen and you don't.
I don't need to throw it.
You don't give unsolicited advice,
right?
Because I think sometimes when I'm not asking for advice, that irritates me. Because sometimes I just need to get my shit off.
That's it. You are no dummy, and you've been through life. Like, like, I'm not gonna come here like, but you remember you had that pimp. You had a pimp. Why I need to remind? If you wasn't gonna say that, I wasn't gonna say it. If you wasn't gonna say it, and I'd have been to prison, I wasn't finna say that. You know what you done been through. If you want to tell them. If you don't want to tell them,
don't. But it's those things that this is my thing that I live by. Your wounds, you covet. Your scars, you can show. because they're healed.
Mm-hmm.
Your scars have already scabbed over. They're healed. Your wounds is what you hold close because people might rip them, put salt on them.
So I'm still really, really wounded. I got some scars, but they not like we can talk about Desmond, we could talk about Nathan, but what I'm going through right now.
What's our other friend that committed suicide?
Him.
I thought about him.
His birthday is it's like next week.
That was one of our friends, and we did not know.
I forgot how well you knew Tim. And that's another thing with mental health, and I know this is about women.
But period.
But these are two black men. Okay, one black man was married to a white woman. We're not going to speak on that. But he was so heartbroken. She had been cheating on him, and mental health is important. He could not get past it. He started just drinking all the time, and he was just so sad, anxiety, everything. And he finally he died. It'll be a year ago this February coming up, and he was drinking and driving, and he wrecked his car, and it took his life ultimately. My other friend, Tim, there were no signs. Like, he was by himself a lot.
Because you called me. When you called me, I was like, girl, quit fucking lying. I was like, girl, what? And I was like, that's stupid.
There were black men suffer in silence. A lot of black people suffer in silence, but our black men, they really suffer in silence. They won't open up. They won't talk.
Because they see it as weakness.
And it's not a weakness. And now I will joke and be like, you really crying? Is that a tear? Like, what you crying? Oh,
but then we'll be like, okay, well, let me get it together.
Okay, come on, boo, come on. But
yeah.
like,
sit right here on the nip.
I feel
on the nip. Sit on the nip.
You get to come on. Okay, I'm just kidding. Sorry, but I feel like if it's something really serious, I would hope it would be a different response, and they would feel comfortable talking to us. He sent me this weird text, and like, you're a really great mom. No matter what anybody tells you, you should take this, and this for your MS. Like, he came to the hospital when I was diagnosed. He and I were really
and when
close.
I had my pimp, I stayed with him.
Yes, and he would go
and
like
he would come
go
pick
check
me
on
up,
the kids and stuff. If I'm not mistaken,
yeah,
and they came with me.
And he would come pick me up from the strip club, and everything.
And these are things I didn't know. Like, Tim was the type of person, he kept your business to himself. Like, he was like, yo, your girl is wilding, like, and then that was it. He, to this day, I don't know what all he was down. Like, he would come. He was, but
he never went and told you my business.
No, he didn't.
And
he was
never,
like, he was wilding, and that was it.
And he never tried anything with me, even though I stayed with him.
And I never knew to what depth. Only whatever you chose to tell me, because that was the type of person he was. But what I will say is, again, we're going to come back to this topic.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a part 2, y'all.
His mama had some issues because of how much she loved his daddy. She was really, really mean to him, and would, like, beat the shit out of him. He had some trauma because his mama had trauma that she never dealt with. And as a result of that, he had issues with loving on and trusting black women.
Because he was such a good dude. Like, y'all,
and was fine. Like, if he had no kids, had good credit, like,
well, hustle, keep a job.
Signs were not there. Like, there was no signs there. It just baffled us. Like, we didn't see it coming. But, like, to come back to this topic, that's why our mental health is so important. Because how can we love on them if we can't love ourselves, and we can't raise our daughters to be able to love themselves, to be able to accept.
And even with me, I have a son, right?
Even though we just said, I'm not your therapist, I'm not your, what did you just go over?
I'm not your therapist, I'm not your mama.
So how do we help somebody like Tim then?
We give them resources. We give them a listening ear. Like, how we let them feel able to come and talk to us and to vent. But I'm not here to fix you.
Right.
I can only do so much for you. You can only do so much for me.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I'm coming to you that I'm weak. That because I'm coming to you, I feel weak. So that's being with men, because I have to be that for my son.
Okay.
I have to be, because my son is 20. He's in the military. Marcus just came and really told me that
Go Marcus.
It was really hard for him in the military, in basic training.
They gave him a hard time.
Mm.
because he's so sweet. He's such a good man, and he's such a strong young man. But his silence or his stature or whatever it is, like, you don't have to break him because you don't know what he's been through. I don't know what y'all talked about, but
he came and talked to me about.
He is so strong.
So any closing remarks? I just want y'all to know
we love you.
That this is back on. We doing this. Yep. I give a fuck about us. I give a fuck about us as black women.
End with a simple: we love you. We like you. You used to say that all the time.
But I love you. But I got to let these people know
that you give a.
I care.
We care.
I care.
I
care about women. I care about what we go through. I care about our coping mechanisms. I care about our finances. I care about us having nice things because I care about the soft life. They say that's for white women. We, black women, can live a soft life. There's nothing wrong with that. Us having nice things and have extravagant lifestyles and able to not live above our means but live comfortably is not a thing that we should feel guilty of. The affirmation that I'm gonna give us this week is: I love myself enough to leave anyone that disrespects my boundaries. And I'm talking about anybody. I love me today.
Yes.
Cause it's cliche. I love me. I love myself. Mm-hmm. I love me. But when you really love yourself, you treat yourself different. You move different. You treat others different.
And we don't have to disrespect them. We don't have to do any of that. But let me tell you something. You say it, you live it, and you mean it. And when you really say it and you really think about it, make a list. Whatever it takes. I will tell you, you are not alone. And this particular affirmation, it pertains to me as well. It will be one of the hardest things when you're going through to say it, live it, walk it, and do it. But I promise, you can do it with me. It's going to be hard, but we can do it. But I promise it's going to be a challenge. So I have to follow it because that's a lot of stuff.
Affirmation is: I love myself enough to leave anyone that disrespects my boundaries. The hardest things is to establish those boundaries.
Yep, and stick to them. And it could be somebody in your house. It could be somebody at your job. It could be somebody that you are emotionally attached to in a relationship, a spouse, whatever it is. Might not be easy, but we're going to get it done.
We're going to get it done. Yes. And we're going to get it done with this. We talking. We're having these conversations. We're going to have other guests. If there's anything that y'all want to talk about, divinemelanation@gmail.com. Even comment under the YouTube post. Even going to my Instagram. I don't think she's ready for her Instagram yet.
Oh no, I'm not ready.
But we're gonna get her there.
Baby steps. I love myself. So right now I'm setting boundaries. I don't need trolls I'm still setting my boundaries. I'm very fragile right now. Baby steps.
Yeah. But I just want y'all to know that I like you. I love you, I like you, and I like you. And peace, y'all.
Y'all take care.
Bye.